Welcome back to Varagist HQ. Like we all know, we have been expecting this disbursement for a very long time, and I think is gradually coming to reality. We are getting closer. As a matter of fact, we are more closer than ever. We are more closer than ever. So I want you to listen to this update. It's very, very important. You listen to this update, listen to it till the end to grab the full gist in this update, because it's very important you get to know the disbursement dates and the reason why the disbursement has delayed to this hour and the obstacles that have been involved in making the disbursement a reality. So please pay attention to it. I'll be right back with more summation.
Now to the big news. Disbursement date has been fixed finally. Disbursement date currently is like your visitor standing knocking at your door. Time and again we give dates and disbursement doesn't take place. Some of you use those dates against us, forgetting that in between those dates very serious occurrences took place in the grant ecosystem. Sometimes I undertake the risk of revealing certain information to members of this channel, but instead of appreciation, they turn back to criticize erroneously what we unravel to them. First of all, we are not grant handlers. We are simply passing the information that is being communicated to us by the authorities, by the grant handlers, by the grant stakeholders and grant facilitators to us, because we are working closely with them to bring forth disbursement. So if we are being communicated to a certain information and we pass same privileged information to you, if such information or date of disbursement fixed failed, that is not absolutely our making. We can't fix date of disbursement. We can't even call for disbursement when the date arrives. Those are sole responsibilities of very powerful entities in this country. At a certain time in this grant ecosystem, a certain grant handler was informed to brief his NGOs, his subscribers, that he has nothing to offer to the masses. Then they will accommodate his NGOs and disburse to them. But out of pride, arrogance, and egotism, the grant handler refused to carry out this advice. And that is part of the reason we are currently at where we are. And the effect might reverberate during disbursement to some innocent NGOs. This same grant handler has been fixing dates in a show that he is in charge of disbursement, and these authorities are watching him, watching every of his move, frustrating those dates he fixed. Actually, those dates are fixed by the authorities to bring forth disbursement. It is the sole responsibilities of these authorities to unravel this date to the masses. But these certain grant handlers will be the one rushing to first unveil the news to the masses. And this is a grant they don't have within them or the power within them to disperse. So all what the authorities keep doing is to frustrate and adjourn those dates, just to prove to the masses that the man or the group, the factions, the grant handlers, the foot soldiers that are informing you that their disbursement is coming are not the one to disburse to you. And if they don't stop fixing those dates, the authorities will continue to frustrate them. Then what will be your responsibility as a grant subscriber? Jointly advise them to stop fixing the dates for disbursement. That is why even when the current date is fixed, I feel it not necessary to unravel it to the masses, just to ensure if the other faction of grant handlers remain silent, because their intent is when disbursement starts, they will tell their NGO CEOs or subscribers that they have started disbursement, hiding in the cover of the main body that are disbursing the grants. But what does it actually take to accept you have nothing to offer? Hence, the masses can be disbursed to and they will escape their struggles and difficulties. But congratulations to everyone who has waited, believed, and refused to give up despite the delay. Just like the farmer in James 5 verse 7, Wait for the early and the later rain. Our season of harvest is now within reach. The seed we have sown in patience are now bearing fruits. I think my next update on this channel will be breaking the good news that disbursement has commenced. Few days ago, some people circulate on the platforms that disbursement has commenced, starting from the stakeholders and then the pioneers. These are all lies. Disbursement have not started in any quarter, in any way. There will not be a hidden activity in this country. The truth is, cash disbursement will commence first. When I mean cash disbursement, is disbursement of the entitlement of beneficiaries to millions of beneficiaries in the country, after where there will be execution of projects across the 774 local government area and the FCT. So anyone telling you the stakeholders will receive first, the pioneer will receive first, are all lying to you. And this information I'm passing is not from me. It's already captured in one of the national dailies and was deliberated upon by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the last Federal Executive Council meeting with the caption, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu approved Renewed Hope World Development Program, a world-based development and empowerment strategy aimed at driving grassroots economic growth and addressing poverty across the 8,809 wards across Nigeria. Therefore, after the cash disbursement will be execution of projects across the entire wards or local government in the country. If you are among those audience that are still doubting if disbursement will take place or if there is money to be disbursed owing to the incessant delay, clear off such thinking from your mind, because the federal government of this country is actively involved in this disbursement. In fact, the federal government has owned this disbursement. So anything that the federal government is connected to will definitely materialize. I repeat, if the president has owned this disbursement, that is the first signal that it can't fail despite the delay. There can only be delay, but no failure. Before now, previous grant handlers were approaching the entire disbursement activity wrongly. They wanted it to be a purely non-governmental activity, leaving out the federal government, and the government keep on frustrating them. Sometimes when I hear some people saying that some certain individuals are selling the disbursement to the government for selfish gains, have they considered that if you take the federal government out of any major national project, that project can never be materialized? This is the same mistake the previous grant handlers has been making, and they were bent on making the same mistake, thereby still postponing grant subscribers from accessing the grants. This grant, when it is disbursed, will shake the entire country, including every villages in this country. And you take the federal government out and you believe the federal government will allow a private entity, a non-governmental organizations to own such a generational glory. The grant will be disbursed. Relax yourself. Numbers 23 verse 19. God is not a man that he should lie. Has he spoken and he will not make it good? As a fact, some genuine prophets and prophetess in this grant ecosystem can attest to the fact that God has spoken to them personally about this disbursement taking place in this country. Once the ownership and commitments are established at the highest level, then the outcome is inevitable. We are not waiting in vain. This is a promise, not in motion, but in actuality. We are already in disbursement. Let's continue to stand together, defend truth, and reject lies.